Little warrior talk today. We want to figure out where to put the feet in warrior one, warrior A position. You can always start just with your feet together like you're standing in your mountain pose. Then go ahead and extend one of your legs back. Let's just say my left leg back. Now the right side is in a flexion position. That means this right hip joint is closing. So that's flexion. The back hip is an extension. So our basic shape is 90-90, hip flexion, hip extension. There's a corresponding rotation to add to these. So we think for the front leg, knee out, which is just a cue to create that rotational torque in the joint. Back leg, we've got internally rotating. This is going to keep you in the alignment of the back leg. Now the challenge here is putting the heel down while keeping that alignment. When we start to adjust that heel down, not easy, we may need to use a prop like a wall or a wedge to get that heel down. Some people can open their foot a little wider to create a bit more width in the foundation. It's just going to give you a solid hip base if you have any tightness anywhere in the hip or downstream the leg. Some people might have the mobility to actually keep the heels aligned or heel lined up with the instep of the back foot, a common instruction in yoga. Some people will have this hip mobility and they can do it no problem. Now, the hips are not fully squaring to the front. We're completing the rotation with a squaring with the chest, with the trunk itself. So when you think about that back hip, if these were your hip bones, these headlights, it's turning, but probably not completely. If this front leg were your highway, probably not completely shining the light down the highway. But what happens is upstream, your oblique abdominals continue the rotation so that you're able to get into that squared off position. The arms are going to stretch forward and up. Scaption, we've talked about previous videos, is the movement here in the shoulder. The head is going to slide back. So we don't want to shrug up the arms behind the head. Instead, the head slides nicely. It slides back, 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 so that we can open the throat. In that open throat position, the arms are overhead, of course, and here we're able to breathe in the warrior pose. Feel how the weight of the arms, your sword, if it were, is dropping straight down that central axis of the body. Feel it dropping straight down through the perineum, the center of the pelvic floor. So there's this great downward weight through the arms, through the body, as you go into the deeper position. Inhaling and exhale a little deeper, a little heavier, a little more grounded in your warrior. One of the things I would always remind people is that this is a martial artist stance. It's a warrior pose. So you should always be in a strong position. This back leg is really active. At any point, you could shift foundation or throw a dynamic maneuver out of the warrior. So you want to really think about this as a strong position instead of something that's just sort of stretched out. I hope this makes sense for your foot position. It's always okay to explore the possibilities. These are always going to be useful movements for the body. But instead of taking a rigid stance about where the foot alignment would be, I'm going to say that's dynamic. It's changing person to person, and then that person is changing day to day. If it's cold outside, if it's raining, and you're feeling a little bit tight, you may need your feet wider than a day that you're really hot and moving well. You might be able to have a narrow stance. So explore the possibilities and remember it's dynamic day to day. Enjoy your practice, everyone.